Okay? At this time, I'd like to introduce you, okay, to someone who has been where you are at right now, our alumni speaker, okay, Mr. Matthew Thurston, who is an engineering application specialist at BWXT Nuclear Energy Canada. Matthew?
Hello, everyone. How's everyone today? Come on, how is everyone? Are you guys excited to have a year at Centennial, your first year? Yeah, that doesn't sound very exciting. I'm sure you guys will have a blast, as I did. So, I studied mechanical engineering design. First, I started in industrial, then I switched to design a little later. So if you guys have any questions throughout this talk, just raise your hand and I'll try to answer you best as my ability. So I want to give a background on myself. So I finished high school a long time ago, and then I went straight to university, studied physics. I failed out of university twice. I never graduated. It just wasn't right. I kept trying and trying and trying, and it never worked for me. And I knew I wanted to do something in physics and astronomy and kind of stuff like that. I got told about I was told about like building satellites. That's kind of what I really wanted to do, work in that field. And so I started looking for mechanical technology positions and schools, and I found Centennial. Had an amazing course lined up. I'm sure now some of you have seen some of the Downsview campus aerospace program. Maybe you guys can take a tour of that one day, but it's very impressive. But I started as mechanical engineering here at Progress. So I started when I was 23, so I'm sure some of you are either around that or younger, or maybe you guys have already graduated university, got a bachelor's somewhere, and if you're an international student, is anyone an international student here? Raise your hand. Lots and lots of international students. So you guys might have already graduated before coming here. So you guys already have like a step up from where I started from here. I failed a bunch and now I'm here, then I started. So a big part of studying at Centennial is getting to know your faculty, having a really, really close friend group so you can chat about, laugh, study together. I had a few different friend groups while I studied here, and I'll kind of explain that as I dive further into it. But yeah, so my first year, I kind of skipped a couple courses because I had previous background. I finished some courses in university, not all of them, but when I started, I loved math, I loved physics, building stuff with my hands, and then for the first time ever, I started designing things. So studying SolidWorks with Elvira and Florin, and these are faculty you'll know and love, I'm sure, if you're in my my courses. But SolidWorks really spoke to me, and I was getting a really good grade talking to my professors a lot. I encourage any of you to always communicate with your professors. Sometimes they'll even reach out to you, like Elvira reached out to me, and she said, "Oh, you're doing great in this course. Why don't you try for the Ontario Skills Competition," which Clarence had just spoken about, where we did really well. This was a few years ago, and so I placed 5th. Yeah, not bad. Not first, not second, not third, not fourth. Measly 5th place in the SolidWorks competition, but it was a blast. And I would recommend every one of you talk to your faculty about working or participating in this competition. Nothing more exciting than a competition to kind of gauge your skills against the rest of Ontario. So I would definitely recommend that. Studying at Centennial, like doing the courses and having friends group, we utilize the library a lot. You can book study rooms, find a space that you can really focus in on. I didn't live on campus. I commuted from my parents' place. And so I would always be stuck studying here for the whole entire day. If I had a class at 8, in a class at 9 p.m. sometimes, I'd be stuck here. So you have to find a good place to study, and there's some really nice places. You can rent, like I said, you can rent a room or just find a little nook somewhere to hide for a whole day. But some of the friends that I had, we all had classes together. Maybe not all of us in the same course, but one of us was always in the same course, and you can always study with them. So I guess talk to the people in your class. Learn their faces, learn their names. Ask them a question after class. Just say, hey, did you get this? Did you take this note? I missed it. Whatever it might be. You missed a class, who knows? But enjoy your time here. Enjoy meeting other students. And so there's a lot of exciting things I took advantage of at Centennial. So one of them was the SAGE program. It's like a global experience thing. I don't know, I bet none of you have probably heard of this if you're just starting, but I would recommend asking about it. For one semester, I traveled to Denmark and studied mechatronics engineering there. Studied with incredible professors in Denmark. They all spoke English, which was really important because I can't speak Danish. But I'd recommend looking into that, see what Centennial has to offer. There's so many programs that I took advantage of, so many I didn't get to take advantage of because the time here is so short. If you're a 2-year program or if you're 3-year co-op or 3-year no co-op. I didn't take co-op, but I was able to work for Centennial throughout my whole entire education. So I think for one day I helped someone study and and so I was a tutor for one day or something like that, I don't know. But I would recommend talking to your professors, learning their names and just chatting with them one-on-one, because they'll help you out. So the most important thing I did at Centennial was work for the ARIES program, and it's kind of like a shout out here. The ARIES is the Applied Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurial Services. It's a mouthful. I know Clarence told you guys about acronyms and stuff. You'll never remember them. I had to look that up before starting, and I worked for them for 4 years. So don't worry. You'll kind of get to know it just by the acronym name, so ARIES. I built stuff for Bombardier, for Promation, which is a big company, for Safran, another aerospace company. Huge projects that you don't get the chance to do as a student. And when, like my time in university, maybe some of you will be able to relate to this. I didn't have very good hands-on experience, maybe bad co-ops or whatever, but coming to Centennial, it was unreal. So I would recommend anybody talk to your professors about the ARIES program. There's also the WIMTAC program, which is like wearable technology. ARIES program is more of just innovation. So like I 3D modeled and used topology optimization, if any of you know what that is, to like design a muffler for aircraft internal ventilation system, and like saved just a lot of weight for the previous design. It was really exciting to get to go to these companies. I visited Bombardier's facility, saw the airplanes and all that, as well as Promation. See there, we did 3D printing. We tested, tensile and compression tested 3D printed metals, which is like awesome. I don't know, I'd say the additive manufacturing field in today's society is just gonna blow everything else out of the water. So get in with ARIES while you can, talk to your professors, really, it'll make you enjoy what you're doing. You might come here to study and get a grade and leave, whatever you do, but it will make you enjoy your time at Centennial. So I really recommend that. A couple other things I'd say is there were mechanical clubs. I was part of the mechanical club when I studied here. I'm not sure where it's at now. I'd recommend talking about that. There's a lot of clubs at Centennial you can join. You get experience, learn people's faces, talk to people, and sometimes you can even talk to industry partners. One of the things that was mentioned by Clarence as well is PAC, the Program Advisory Committee. I only joined that as alumni, but there are spots for students. And I sat in a meeting with different employers from outside, and like they're right there. They're looking to hire students when they graduate Centennial. I think that would be such an important thing to do if I was a student, to just be in that room with those people from Safran or from Simmons or any sort of just like employer that's around this area. So I'd recommend applying and looking into the PAC, SAGE, ARES, all of these different acronyms. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about where I am so far? I haven't got to what I'm doing now, but I will in just a moment. Anyone have any questions about my time at Centennial, what I did for fun, where I ate, anything like that? Just yell it if you do. Nobody? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. The layout of the courses? The design? Okay, so if I remember correctly, I have a bad memory, but you originally start with like the basics of math and physics and all that. You'll get into working with SolidWorks and Mastercam, which is doing CNC programming. You'll be able to create a project and actually machine that yourself with the CNC. It is really fun. Learning like using ANSYS to do simulations and all that. It's all part of it. Those are the later years. Are you in a 2-year course? 2-year fast track. So I was a 3-year, so it's a little different. You might be skipping a lot of the courses I'm mentioning, but the way Centennial has it laid out is perfect. It doesn't really need to be changed. You have so many opportunities to experience with many different softwares. NX, CATIA, we use CATIA and NX in the ARES program, and I think they're trying to develop that into the main like 3D modeling courses that you might have. Just talk to your professors, ask to be more involved. Oh, you're doing a project or an assignment in SolidWorks. Well, can I use NX and try it there? Can I learn how to use Teamcenter? Ask about Teamcenter, PLM systems and everything. Florin is a master of those. If you'll have a course with him, you're set. Just talk to your faculty. Like the teachers here are awesome. Work in the labs. There's so many opportunities to work in the labs. I was talking to one of the professors, or I was listening in on one of the professors a little while ago, and he said not enough students are applying for lab jobs. And I know if you're an international student, it's expensive to study here. You'll probably have a part-time job somewhere, but try to get a job at the lab while you're there too. Lots of my friends had multiple jobs when here. I was just working at ARES the whole time, but feel free to talk to professors about opportunities like that. Yeah, you'll be fine if you're doing the 2-year fast track. It'll fly right by. So make sure you take advantage of any little tiny opportunities you might have. If you guys want to work in Canada, if you want to work elsewhere, that's fine, but Canada is growing so much. So I guess I should talk about where I am now. I graduated in 2022. I was still working for the ARES program after I graduated and even got another job. It was kind of like I hadn't finished this one project and I just wanted to finish, so I was hired as a temporary, I wasn't a student, so I was just working there. I don't know if it was allowed. But I am now a manufacturing engineering specialist, which sounds like a mouthful, and it is, but essentially I'm just a project manager. I manage about 20 projects in the nuclear industry. I work out in Peterborough, which is about an hour and a half or an hour and 20 minutes from here. One thing I'd recommend, when you guys graduate, when you're looking for co-ops, apply with Centennial, but apply for student positions all around Ontario. So I worked as a student with the Ontario Power Generation in Pickering. It's a big nuclear plant. I worked there for a summer while I studied at Centennial. It was not through co-op. I'd just recommend talking to co-op and just trying to look for a position yourself. And that kind of got me set up in the nuclear industry. So now I'm managing 20 different projects, all to do with nuclear plants. So the nuclear plant will come to my company, they'll talk to us, they'll say, hey, we need this, we need this, we need this. and I'll make it happen. Either manufacturing in-house or going elsewhere and getting up to the safety codes of nuclear, which are insane. But we design and build for defueling, refueling, and just general operations at any nuclear plant. That's where I am now. It's nuclear, I'm gonna plug my industry. Nuclear industry is gonna be huge in Canada in the next coming years. If you've heard of small modular reactors, and Pickering nuclear plants might do a huge renovation in their company, so they might be able to last a few more years. They're due to close soon, but yeah. Does anyone have any questions about where I am, about courses? Like any specific course? Is anyone? Oh yeah. So I am not a professional engineer. So I did not finish my bachelor's degree, which you will need to become have a PEng in Canada, or you have to be with a certain certificate from college. I don't, but the role that I'm in right now requires to have a bachelor's degree in engineering. I kind of worked my way up from that. I started as an assembly worker. I'm sure nobody here wants to be an assembly worker when you graduate, but trust me, if you have plans to move up a ladder at a business, start from the bottom. I know all the people from the assembly at my company, and now I'm the next step up. Next step from here is a full project manager making who knows how much money, 200 grand a year, stuff like that. But you have to kind of work your way up. So no, I don't have my PEng. I do plan on going back to school for either a PMO, so project management certificate, or for maybe even PEng in the future. But you do not need those certificates. You don't need to be a professional engineer to make a ton of money after graduation. I'm sure a lot of people are excited to graduate and start making some good money and pay off your student loans as I'm still paying them off. So. Yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yeah. So I changed from industrial to design in my very last year. And it's because I went to Denmark, and in order to study at Denmark, I had to switch some courses around. So I actually, if I had finished my industrial program, I would have had a project management course, which would have put me in such a good position where I am now. I kind of had to learn it as I went in this job. But if you think about what you want to do you want to do project management? Do you want to work in really industrial things, or do you want to sit at a computer and design? I do a little bit of design work at my job now, but it's really up to you. I switched in my last year. Most of the courses are very similar up until that point. So it's an easy switch. So I would talk to your faculty, talk to your program coordinator, and they can really help you out. Is there another question? Is this at Centennial? Yes. Or previously? At Centennial. So for me, it was a breeze. For my program coordinators, I think it was challenging. So you have to kind of equate courses in order to do that. So let's say you get to third year, or I'm not sure how fast track works, but let's say you want to switch it. You may have to take some courses. My whole 3-year program was just a jumble of me trying to make up courses at different times. But I don't know how they pulled it off, but Centennial really did. They pulled it off. So I would talk to your program coordinator if you feel like switching halfway through. If you feel like taking a certain course as an elective, it's possible that you can argue for that too. Yeah. But for you, all you have to do is send an email, show up to their office and say, hey, I really, really want to do this, and you might get lucky. So yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. So I can mostly only speak on my situation and maybe some friends of mine. So every single one of my friends got a job right after graduating Centennial. So it doesn't really matter what, what you study. I feel like you can get a job really easily as long as you have the drive to do that. So some of my friends got an engineering design job right out of Centennial, like probably working while still, like I was, working for the ARES program and kind of getting a full-time job right after that. The nuclear industry, I would love it if everybody in this room applied to my company. I'd love more Centennial graduates applying to BWXT. I think the nuclear industry is going to be huge. That's what I can really speak on, and we'd be looking for designers, for project managers, for anything, whatever I bet everybody in this room could play a role at our company or in the nuclear industry at all. Yeah, I know there's a lot of auto companies. I know GM in Oshawa and Toyota just around the corner from here. There's plenty of opportunities in like auto and stuff like that as well. Yeah. Any other questions, or have I burnt through all my time? Anyone? Last chance? Alumni. Yeah, go ahead.
How many people do you see from international background in your field? Do you think it's open that people from different backgrounds to participate in this market?
Yeah, so the nuclear industry is very tight. It's very hard to get in, but we are hiring a lot of people. So things like when you're coming from an international background, let's say, the background check on you, let's say you're applying to a nuclear plant, is insane. You have to get letters of reference from a neighbor in your home country. Like, it's pretty advanced for that. But I would say maybe 50% of the people at my work right now came from, were international students, studied in Canada, and then they applied. So, like, there's so many opportunities. Nothing's really holding you guys back from applying. Yeah. Nope. What's that? BWXT. NEC. What was your question? How many employees? So BWXT is Babcock and Wilcox. X, I don't know what X stands for. T is technologies. If you Google BWXT, they're huge in the United States. There's a million jobs over there. But my company is NEC, which is Nuclear Energy Canada. So BWXT, NEC. I think I might have mentioned it, but one thing is the acronyms in your life do not get easier. They just get harder. When you go to a company full time, you're just going to get more and more. So, but I will say, when you're at Centennial, look for your future. Look at opportunities. Have fun. That is the most important thing. Make friends and have fun. I still talk to many of the friends. I still talk to friends that I met when I studied in Denmark. All sorts of stuff. I really love Centennial and happy to chat with you guys. I hope you guys have a good year. Yeah.